Welcome to the NDIS Property Australia podcast. Before starting this episode, we need to provide a general disclaimer. Information contained in this podcast is general in nature only. It does not take into account the objectives, financial situation, or needs of any particular person. You need to consider your financial situation and needs before making any decisions based on the information in this podcast. And you should consider seeking independent and professional advice for your personal circumstances. All right, let's begin.
G'day. Welcome to another podcast at NDIS Property Australia. My name is Minh and I'm your host today. Today's topic is construction costs and build delays. Why are houses taking long to build and is costing more? That's the biggest question that everyone's asking. I think we've seen a lot of this information in the news the last 6 months or so, talking about this every single night. And today I want to cover a fair bit of information about such costs and the delays and the reasons why, and when will we even see the solutions to these issues in Australia. So the question is, what are the pressures on home building? There's been an extraordinary series of events in the last 18 months arising from COVID pandemic, and these include restrictions on trade availability as the numbers of workers on site and number of sites per week that they were able to work in was very limiting. We saw a lot of this in Victoria and also New South Wales. Trades were also unable to travel between states for extended periods of time in 2021. The number of workers able to work in manufacturing and industries that produce the building materials were also restricted and continue to be impacted by the COVID-19 in 2022. Clients were also locked down and unable to make material selections and complete the contracts and other documentations for their new homes. Restrictions slowed the delivery of land to market, and the approval authorities face extended timeframes from restricted staff availability, which is still continuing in 2022. Similar pressures are also being felt in many other countries where building materials are manufactured, slowing down and at times stalling global production of building materials. And in addition to this, increased shipping costs and delivery delays of imported materials and products as well. And these pressures were compounded by the extended lockdowns across many states in 2021. So the Australian building industry is still catching up from all these events, when the more recent flooding and the new flooding in Queensland, southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales, and also the Ukraine conflict has emerged in the early stages of 2022. So coinciding with these COVID-related delays, there's also been a spike in demand for new homes and renovations across every state and territory. And the spike has come from the incentives that state and federal governments have provided to home building and to keep the economy moving in 2020. And the response to these incentives exceeded all expectations. Home buyers have also been looking for more space in larger homes in the suburbs and regional areas in response to lockdowns. Lockdowns and increased personal savings encouraged homeowners to focus on their homes, leading to a jump in renovation activity. Low interest rates the last 2 or 3 years or 4 years has enabled more people to become homeowners or renovate. And in addition to that, the surging prices of established homes has encouraged people to renovate and trade up to another larger house or more expensive house. The repair and replacement work from the hailstorms in 2020 December and the recent floods in 2022, early 2022, have added to supply pressures on the industry, and these events have also seen factories and building materials stocks lost. On this topic here of these natural issues and disasters, the insurance companies do spend more money on hiring tradies to do the renovation work. I mean, in Queensland alone, there was like 270,000, I think, odd jobs for renovations, repairs for the floods from southeast Queensland in early 2022, And there are only 75,000 tradies in all of Queensland. So they'll be sucked up into those insurance jobs where they'll be paid higher money, and loss of workers for the normal new building construction industry sector. So this spike in demand, when combined with the constraints of the availability of tradespeople and materials, has seen the cost of new housing increases by about 20% in 2021 Australia-wide. The home building industry has also had to compete for workers with other industries at a time of low unemployment, further adding to cost pressures for labour. Now, when the pandemic hit in 2020, a lot of the labourers from Australia who were from overseas, Ireland, Indonesia, India, all those countries there who had labourers in Australia, they would have rushed off home to their families and stayed over there before the international borders closed up. So only recently have the borders been opening up, have they slowly been coming back to Australia, but that's also subject to the Department of Immigration allowing work visas to be approved to let them back in. So that's also another issue there, government matter as well. Some of the costs I want to summarise are as follows. So these costs are simply unsustainable with regards to the construction industry. So by a product summary here, reinforced steel is up 43%, steel beams up 41%, structural timber 39%, plywood 29%, electrical cables 27%, plastic pipes 26%, copper pipes 25%, terracotta tiles 21%, metal roofing 20%, timber doors 20%, timber windows 19%, aluminium windows 18%, mirrors and other glass 14%, insulation 14%, carpet and floor coverings 10%, clay bricks 10%. And all the rest of the following here are going to be 10% or below. Clay bricks, paint coating, ceramic tiles, concrete tiles, metal sanitary ware, shower screens, plastic products, taps and valves, metal garage doors, builders hardware, cupboards, fittings. All these are between 7 to 10%. So from steel products point of view, steel products, there's 42% increase ending March 22. Timber, 20%, other metal products, 16%, electrical equipment, 14%, ceramic products, 20%. From a trade point of view, so trade is labour wages, bricklaying is up 14%, painting 10%, carpentry 10%, joinery 9%, ceramic tiling 8%, general building 7%, plastering, landscaping and other trades are 4%. Okay. So how is a builder meant to be wearing these types of costs when these costs are going up and up all the time? So in summary, to help clarify the delays and increased costs, it comes down to the following, 6 points. Shortage of labour. Many specialist trades are working on homes impacted by recent floods in New South Wales and Queensland. The high demand of workers has also resulted in increased labour costs to retain subcontractors. Number one. Number two is restricted access to steel and timber materials. Supply of raw materials have decreased due to the disruptions of international producers caused by the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Number three, increased costs of manufactured products such as windows, doors, cabinets. The shortages of raw materials have caused a ripple effect with delays in the production of products and increases in manufacturing costs. Number four, the impact of COVID. Disruption of workflow and employees from COVID restrictions and general illness has led to a smaller workforce being allowed on site to complete the projects. Administration in offices has also been impacted as well. Number five, delays in land titles. Approvals and supply of services to some developments have impacted construction start dates. And number six, the backlog from the high demand for new homes spurred on by low interest rates and the government incentives of 2020 and 2021. Okay, so this is a very concise summary of how the industry is going with regards to construction, and this will obviously affect the construction of SDA housing in the India's market. And if you are a listener and you're thinking about going into construction of a brand new home or an apartment or a villa somewhere, which is meant for NDIS participants, then be prepared for a long drawn out construction process, because the old days of building a house in 5-6 months is long gone. We're seeing, on average, from our point of view, 12 to 16 months time frame to turn around and complete a turnkey SDA house from site start. Yeah. And the same applies for the small projects, which are apartments. There's 10, 12 apartment complexes. There'll be 18 months turnaround time as well. So all the lengthy delays and all these timelines for site preparation, approvals with council, finance approval, ordering of materials, getting the labourers on site, getting enough labourers as well, and delivery of everything else, services and products, is going to be roughly a year and a half at worst, I guess. Yeah. So that's really the purpose of this podcast, just to summarise for our listeners that there is a fair bit of things happening in the background in the construction industry, which is evident on the news every night, and particularly with the news showing more and more builders falling under, which we haven't seen any yet in the NDIS build sector yet, but time will tell, I guess. And that's it. So if there are any questions regarding construction or queries about whether we're at risk as well, from a business point of view, our approach really is diversification. So we have been diversifying our product rollout across Australia, across different builders and product types as well. So we've minimised our risk however much we can, and we continue to seek alternative product providers, being builders or developers, to give us other options for the rollout of our clients' SDA products across Australia. Anyway, that's it for today's podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure that you are subscribed and following us so that you can keep in the loop with all of our upcoming episodes. We would really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star rating, a written review, and to share this episode with those that can benefit. Until next time, catch you on the next episode.